Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. You cockroaches. Say hello to my little friends. Zach,
Hey,
Ben,
it's
and
us.
Cam.
That's
Starting off
us.
strong.
We're the little friends.
With my
Some of
just as good Cuban accent as
You are right.
Pacino.
Your accent was just as good as Al Pacino's. You are correct.
I'm Dylan. And this week we did Scarface, if you couldn't tell by my shitty impersonation.
No, that was a good impersonation, you know?
Oh, thanks, man. To kick things off and get everybody in the right mood, we're going to talk about this week's cocktail, a Cuban classic.
It's a
the
mojito.
Yes, the mojito.
You know what rhymes with bromigos? Mojitos.
Ooh.
No other big Blue Mountain State fans in the pod.
No, but the listeners at home loved it.
Everybody hated that.
The mojito is, this recipe says 3 mint leaves. You could do more, you could do less. You know, there's a lot of different ones because Cam sent like 3 that were all different. They had like some.
They were all
just
slightly
used,
different, yeah.
Some just use plain sugar. This one calls for a ½ ounce of simple syrup, 2 ounces of white rum, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, and then club soda to top. Serve it in like a highball glass, almost like a Tom Collins with ice. So it's a classic. My wife loves these. She has me make them all the time. She likes Sprite in hers, but usually use less simple syrup because it's going to be
Way more sugar. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, too much sugar. So, for our listeners out there, if you haven't been making the cocktails lately, you're fucking up. All right,
They've been good recently. Yeah.
They've been straight bangers.
We've been giving you just fucking home run after home run cocktails. And I know because I will drink several of these. Probably tonight. They're that fucking good.
Yeah, this is very similar to a Tom Collins. Like, I feel like basically just like switch out the ingredient. So they're like, okay, instead of lemon, it's lime. Instead of gin, it's rum. You have the mint in here, of course, but
take away the pine taste and add mint, and I feel like this is the difference between a Tom Collins and a mojito.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I guess.
Massive improvements to
I don't
Tom
really
Collins.
taste the pine much in Tom Collins. I feel like everything else does a really good job of blending that into the drink. But yeah, you mint, you can definitely taste the mint in this one for sure.
There's a great variation of the mojito where instead of like a white rum, you go for like a 7-year-old bourbon. And instead of the simple syrup, you use maple syrup.
But does it have mint in it? Because I don't know if those flavors go.
No. Those are the only 2 ingredients.
Yes.
So
I feel like that's a variation on most cocktails. It's almost like a martini, but instead of vermouth, you use the maple syrup.
it's like a martini, except instead of everything in the martini, you use everything not in the martini.
No, but the martini is only 2 ingredients, so it's
Okay.
It's the same thing. You're making a 1-for-1 substitution with both ingredients.
Exactly. Instead of the vermouth, you have milk, and instead of the vodka, you have chocolate. Now you have chocolate milk.
Oh, I mean, you could also substitute for steak. Make yourself a nice milk steak cocktail.
Wow.
Or a rum ham.
I was gonna suggest steak
Oh.
and butter,
Eggs.
but all right.
steak. Just which one is the major ingredient there? Are you like drinking steak, or are you drinking butter?
the
with
Rocky-
I'm
steak?
not drinking.
You need
it's
enough
the Rocky
butter to drink the steak.
It's
That's
the Rocky
ratio.
Balboa special.
Egg?
A little bit more about the mojito.
It's a 2004 stoner comedy.
It really is. It's one of the most popular rum cocktails.
Everybody
in the
probably
world
hates
today.
that except for us.
It can be traced to Cuba and the 16th century cocktail El Drac, named for Sir Francis Drake, the English sea captain and explorer who visited Havana in 1586.
Oh, no.
I knew it.
I guess all of the ingredients are indigenous to Cuba. It's probably how you come about creating one of these when you have all the ingredients laying around.
Yeah, they just
picked it up at a
magically
farmer's
find
market.
themselves into a glass, and then there you go.
If you haven't tried a mojito, check the show notes below, get the recipe, and make yourself one. It's a classic for a reason. It's a fantastic drink, and it's very refreshing after a long day. So I think you'd like it.
You specifically will like it.
Yes, you.
You.
The one I am talking to right now.
The one sitting in their
Dale.
car driving to work. You will like it.
Or at home, if you're working from home. Send us a picture at Cocktails and Classics Pod on Instagram. Tell us what drinks and movies you want us to watch. And we're about to spoil Scarface. It's on Netflix until June 30th, so get to watch it. Or don't.
It's a
After
long
that,
movie.
You can pick it up at Walmart on a Blu-ray in the $5 bin.
I wouldn't blame you
That's
to
just
start
Scarface is
watching
that
it
nowadays.
and then you just don't finish it because it's
yeah.
3 hours.
I'm gonna give you a spoiler warning for a movie that's been out almost 30, 40 years now.
It's been out long enough that I'm surprised there hasn't been a shitty remake.
Well, it is a shitty remake of an earlier movie.
Whoa. Hold on.
Well, we can always shittily remake shitty remakes, Dylan. It's what makes the Hollywood engine go.
Scarface is a 1983 remake of a 1932 movie, Scarface. It's directed by Brian De Palma, written by Oliver Stone, Howard Hawks, and Ben Hecht. It's a crime drama, and it's the story of Tony Montana, a Cuban immigrant in the 1980s Miami, who basically joins a drug cartel. Kind of. I don't like. Frank isn't really a drug cartel.
Yeah.
He's just kind of
Yeah,
like
I mean,
a
he kind
No,
of is.
Frank's just like a dealer.
mafioso,
Yeah,
right?
he's like the Godfather, you know?
Yeah.
Except way more chill. He's pretty chill.
Except for, well, yes. I was thinking when I was watching it, I'm like, dude, if this was any other like mobster kind of dude, he would just fucking kill Tony now. Like
Well,
Tony's
right.
like,
That's what I'm saying.
You
is
gotta
he-
think bigger, Frank. You gotta.
He basically gives. I feel like he gives Tony like so much room, and then he only tries to kill him once he basically tries to sleep with his girl. He's like, okay, well,
That's where you draw the line.
you're right. And the other thing too is like he says repeatedly, he's like, the only way you make it is if you just lay low, you know. And Tony's out there trying to cause a scene, and he can't have that. Not good for business. Not good for staying alive. Ironically.
Also, can we just talk about Frank having the golden rule?
Yeah. Way before The Lonely Island came out with it.
Don't get high
On your own supply.
on your own supply. Tony's key downfall.
Top tier quote.
Tony had a lot of key
I don't think
downfalls. Not gonna lie.
Was that rule number one? I
It
thought
wasn't
rule number
one,
was
but you
that
said it
was
was the
rule
golden
number-
rule.
No. It was rule number 2.
Yeah. What's her face says it? Elvira. I
Yeah.
think
Rule
says
number
it.
one
yes.
is don't underestimate the other guy's greed.
Yeah.
Scarface stars Al Pacino, Michelle Pfeiffer, Stephen Bauer, Mary Elizabeth
Mastrantonio.
Mastrantonio. Those are like the only big ones. I don't know. I feel like Paul Sheener is in other stuff. The guy who plays Sosa, is he? He kind of looked familiar.
Yeah, he's got one of those faces where he plays a good bad guy, but bit of a drug cartel connection. Stephen Bauer, who plays Manny in Scarface, was Don Eladio in Breaking Bad. So if you watch the movie and recognize that face, that might be where it's from.
I did recognize him, and I was like, I feel like I know that guy from somewhere.
Scarface currently sits at an 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb, and it is the number 119 top-rated movie. Wasn't nominated for anything. Wow.
That's surprising,
It's
actually.
nominated for a couple of Golden Globes.
Yeah, the
But,
issue is Scarface, and it really didn't do well at the box office either. The issue is all the violence. There was a massive media campaign about how violent and gory this movie was, which it is, but that part definitely hurt it quite a bit. They had issues even getting an R rating. They were like slicing scenes out of the movie to try to get from X to R.
I could imagine. I didn't. So is obviously the movie is a fantasy. Is the like Cuban, like where they're like sending all these refugees and they sent a bunch of criminals? Is that actually like a historical event?
I don't know about the sending criminal parts, but there was definitely like a couple short ways of like, let's open the Cuban borders and let people escape,
Oh,
depending if you're
leave.
pro or anti-Castro.
Because I don't know enough about any of that to like know that much. But
It's also an interesting point. Like, if that's true, like who would Castro qualify as a criminal? You know, like it may
probably
not.
just enemy of the state.
Well,
you know?
exactly, but like that could just be like people who didn't like Castro, right? Like that could just be like people who said that maybe communism's not great or whatever, like.
I think to narrow it down, they started with the people who were tired of eating octopus 3 times a day, and they shipped those people out first.
Oh my god.
That is a great line that just goes skipped right over. Al Pacino's like, I eat octopus 3 days a week, or 3 times a day. I got octopus coming out of my ears. Imagine eating that much octopus.
Did they just have a shit ton of
I guess,
octopus there? Like, why? That was a weird line.
I guess it is a thing. So it's the Marilitos. Is the name given to the Cuban immigrants that left Cuba from the port of Mariel in 1980. Approximately 135,000 people left the country to the United States from April to September in what became known as the Mariel boat lift. While there already was largely successful Cuban immigration to the United States before the 80s, the third most well-known wave of Cuban immigration was in 1980. The Cuban government permitted approximately 125,000 Cubans to board a decrepit fleet of boats in Mariel Harbor. Of the 125,000 refugees that entered the U.S. on the boat lift, around 16,000 or 20,000 were estimated to be criminals or undesirables,
Oof.
according to a Sun Sentinel magazine article. In a 1985 report, around 350 to 400 Mariel Cubans were reported to inhabit Dade County jails on a typical day. However, the city commissioner of Miami had said that even among those who had criminal records, there were thousands whose offenses were so minor that they would not be considered criminals here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, imagine like holding
and
up
then a bunch were based on the communist regime.
Yep. Exactly.
Imagine holding up like
so there was like 2,500.
Imagine holding up a sign that was like screw Castro, and then you show up in Miami and you get taken to jail for that.
Right.
They were holding signs that said that too, man.
Sorry, so 2,500.
2,500 what?
Was like 2,500 was like the hardened criminals, like
of 125,000 people. All right.
Yeah.
Like 2%. They just made it sound like
I
the movie title opening just made it sound like a big fucking deal. Like, oh, they're not sending their best, okay?
Yeah, but I mean, look at we're in 1983. I think that for the year it came out, I think they put that very nicely than what was probably acceptable to do at the time.
Maybe, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they said they were a bunch of, murderers and rapists and drug dealers coming over
They
the
didn't
border.
explicitly say it. We knew what they meant. But I'm saying this is the 80s. You got to take it with a massive, massive grain of salt.
I'd seen this. Who hadn't?
I have not.
Ben and Cam, the classic. What'd you guys think?
The Usual Suspects.
Oh, he said the line.
He said the movie title. What did I think? I actually did enjoy it. It was a really long movie. It was a really long one. But at the same time, I do think that the pacing wasn't awful. Like, there was so much that happened in the movie that it didn't quite feel like I was sitting there for 3 hours, but it was a long fucking movie.
Yeah, I know it was 3 hours, but it did not feel like I feel like I've watched 2-hour movies that have felt longer than this and a 3-hour movie.
Food Fight felt longer than this movie.
Well, I mean, not just movies that are extremely bad, but like movies that like I enjoy, but just seem like they kind of run long. And I feel like this movie, it didn't feel like it ran long. I just at times think maybe if they could have used the time of the 3 hours a little bit better. Maybe doing a little bit more on Tony's like slide down rather than just like, oh, he kills Frank. And now we start watching him descend. It's like, well, wait a minute, what? We didn't really see him like take, he killed Frank and the cop and then was like, hey, Eddie, you want a job? Yeah, sounds good. And then it was like,
Well,
okay.
They just started the travel agency and then just laundered money.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the issue was, I think the point they're trying to show is that you can fall as quickly as you rise up. And so, like, he got to the top very quickly, and basically he got so far up above everybody else that he was just, like, he got to be too big of a problem and just got, like, cut out in his prime, basically. Like, he had an entire drug empire and just got murdered in his own home, essentially. Because he got too greedy.
Well, because he had morals and wouldn't kill kids.
That's, I mean, yes. However, that was an inevitable outcome, I think, of like, yes, he did do that because he, quote, had morals, but he didn't have a lot of morals about anything else.
Yeah, but look, Sosa told him at the very beginning, all right, don't fuck him.
Yeah, don't you ever fuck me.
So you gotta
What
think.
if I want to? You're looking kind of good.
So you gotta think maybe if he doesn't do that, like, I mean, he had a fortress. Sosa literally had to send like
An army?
Yeah, that was more than a hit squad. That was a fucking militia.
Yeah, but I think the outcome was the same. Like, Tony's crossed every dude that he's worked for or worked with.
Oh, I mean,
Like,
Yeah.
consider the fact that he literally killed his best friend.
Right.
And even though his best friend and sister were
Married?
like full on married.
Yeah.
And then
Well, he didn't know they were married.
Okay,
but he also wasn't.
In
playing the Harry Potter
retrospect,
shit.
that's
he isn't gonna be Ron Weasley.
weird. I will say that is super odd. Like, that this dude is unstable, and you didn't tell him that you were dating, let alone married, until like a major incident. I'm not saying that he should have killed his best friend, but like, they should have expected a bad response. Like, that was not good.
They expected a bad response, so they like disappeared.
Right.
They went away for
Yeah.
a few days to see if they could ease Tony into
It's
it.
honestly Tony's mom's fault. If Tony's mom hadn't told him where
yeah.
You
Gina
leave
was
Mama
going.
Montana out of it. She did nothing
Sounds like
wrong
she
this whole
needs-
movie.
Hey, snitches get stitches. All right.
also that weird like "fuck me, Tony" from Gina.
That
Oh,
was
yeah,
such
that
a
was-
I mean,
weird.
she's on drugs, but like I was like, what the fuck is going? Is this a
No,
dream?
I think she was just like grieving and really pissed at her
Yeah, I mean,
brother.
her
Well,
husband
the other
did-
thing,
her husband did get killed by her brother like 30 minutes
right?
prior to that.
Well, and the other thing
Who she
too.
thinks is because she thinks was killed because Tony was jealous of him.
I mean, it's
Yeah, she didn't get a
questionable
whole
whether
lot.
or not he was. Like, it is really fucking weird.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing
guys think there was
too
some
is
step bro
that
stuff going on?
well, he hadn't seen her in like a long
Step
time.
Tony.
Like,
Since she was this big.
yes, very small. So like, yeah.
Yeah, I was confused kind of when they first introduced her because he's like, "Oh, you're beautiful now," like, "Oh my god," and I'm like, "Is that like his wife from
Yeah.
Cuba?"
No.
And then it kind of was like told, and I'm like, "Okay, it's his sister."
Yeah, because he hadn't seen her in a long time. Presumably, she had fled before he did, or something. Maybe, I don't know, but
yeah,
yeah.
it was probably in jail or
Well, he did. He also served in the army in Cuba or something, right?
yeah.
So I don't know. For whatever variety of reason, they hadn't seen each other in like years. So, like 5 to 10 years, it sounds like. So I don't know. All that combined, it was definitely a weird scene at the end where she was saying that stuff, but it's not totally like out there. Like, I get what would have put her in that kind of state to be like delirious, I guess. I don't know.
Mountains of cocaine.
Yes. Lots of drugs. Your husband just got killed.
She gon' buy cocaine.
Thank you.
Oh, I think Zach was referencing the Jack Sparrow Lonely
Yeah,
Island
another
song.
Lonely Island reference. I'll sneak them in.
Yeah, the whole world's a pussy, just waiting to get fucked.
You.
Didn't know that was an actual quote from this movie. Like, I know they like reference it in the song, and I was like, they're just being
memey, but
goofballs
nope,
on Lonely
it's
Being
Island.
silly billies.
No,
It's
that's
a real quote.
He does say
The
that.
the dialogue in this movie is very like weird. Like, there's a lot of very odd lines. Where it's like, do people really say that kind of shit? You know, like, would they really say that shit? I don't know. It's so weird. And then Tony Montana's fucking accent is just like so odd. Like, what even is that?
It sounds kind of like an Italian American
Trying to be Cuban?
Trying to be Cuban. Yeah, 100%. Can we talk about the chemistry or complete lack thereof between Michelle
Yeah.
Pfeiffer and Al
There was
Pacino in this?
zero.
Michelle Pfeiffer's character in anyone. And
Well, I mean, that's sort of it, though, right? I mean,
Well,
Michelle Pfeiffer's not
no.
in it for love. She doesn't love Frank. She loves
Right, but
money and coke.
I didn't even believe Tony's like shenanigans.
But like,
Yeah, I don't think
that's
Tony
the thing.
loved
It
her
was like
either.
Tony,
But he lusted
it was
after her.
like Tony was into her, and then it was like the two of them. They meet by the pool, and they have this really uncomfortable conversation where it's like, yeah, we don't like each other whatsoever. So I don't know why this. Well, Tony likes her, but she just seems completely disinterested. And then they're at the club with like his arm around her, and it was just like, wait, what the fuck is going on here? Because they don't seem like at any point there's anything that remotely resembles like mutual interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a
and
it's
then
a
he
power
went full
grab.
Bam Margera and was like, "Why don't we have sex anymore?" And was like
Oh my
throwing dildos and
god.
butt plugs at her.
I heard about that. She said something real bad. She was like you're drugged up or something all the time.
She's like, you're on drugs. And you don't
Yes.
shower or something.
Yeah, you're on drugs and you never shower.
And he like live
Sad
streamed it,
cringe.
like, bro.
That is
Yeah, didn't
I feel bad for her, the wife in that scenario, but that is such prime sad cringe material. I love it.
Yeah.
you know what's like
Sorry to
insane
get us on this topic.
is that Steve-O is like, dude, we all want you to get help.
Yes. It's funny. I think I mentioned this before. Like, in a
Steve-O
different
is
thing.
now like the fucking dad.
They've really
of the
gone the
voice
other
of
way,
reason,
like-
and I'm here for it.
Like Bam started out in Jackass as like he was like one of the most famous people in the group and was a skater. He had endorsements, like money, everything. And Steve-O was just like a complete mess. And now Steve-O's
Bam would like nope out
Yeah.
of shit if he thought legit was like, I don't want to. No, I'm not doing that. And like Steve-O was always like,
Fuck it.
oh, you want me to like fucking jump off a mountain with no parachute? Like,
you want
fuck,
me to
man, let's
stick
do
a car
it.
up my butt and go
Probably
to the
be-
doctor? Yeah, I'll do that. I have no shame.
Probably
Everybody
be-
peaks at different times.
Probably because he was on so much drugs he didn't know what
Right.
he was agreeing to, and now they're like just in complete opposite situations. But it's sadder for Bam because they're in like their 40s or 50s.
Yes,
and,
way
like,
sadder for Bam.
Steve-O's makes sense as like it was a phase and I did a bunch of drugs in like my 20s and now I'm like clean. And for Bam it's like I didn't do a bunch of drugs until I got to like my 30s and 40s and now
I'm a sad
fucking
fuck.
mess.
And that is really why here at Cocktails and Classics, we recommend that you get into your drugs phase as soon as you possibly can. Do it before your 30s because you don't want to end up
Legalize
like Bam
everything.
Margera.
Welcome back to, I'm going to reference it again, Taco La Bam. This is the second episode where we've talked about Bam Margera, and I've made this reference. Please subscribe to our Patreon channel, where we'll release new episodes of Taco La Bam. Check it out; it's gonna be huge.
Welcome to our little Portland, where we've decriminalized all drugs, and you should experiment with anything you
My
see your heart's
God.
desire.
So the Elvira and insert male figure relationship, especially Tony and Elvira, is purely power. Elvira jumps ship from Frank as soon as she gets the idea that Frank is downhill and Tony's uphill. And Tony, I don't think, ever actually loves Elvira. She's just like the object to get. It's like something he has to conquer. He has to have her because
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
that's what owning the world
She's
is.
the symbol.
Yeah.
She's the symbol.
Yeah.
She's the hood ornament to the lifestyle that is being a kingpin.
Which is fucked
Yeah,
up.
and Elvira is just a product of the environment she put herself in. Of
She could be less interested in anything in life.
yeah,
She's like, I'm just gonna like do my nails and do some coke and
little pampering,
you
little
know
shopping,
anything that
lot of
happens, I'm
drugs.
just gonna look really pouty at, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I just was like, wait. It was like, oh, I hate everything about you. And then the next scene, like, his arms around her. It's just like, wait, how did we get here? Like, why is she, like, okay with this now? But, like, 2 minutes ago, with nothing in between, there's just like, oh, I hate everything about you.
The greatest part of Scarface
cool.
is like any plot hole you can find or thing that doesn't
What's
make
the end?
sense is all explained away with cocaine.
This is my second time watching this movie, and so I prepared a little statement, if that's okay.
Okay.
Can I-
Shuffle your
can I read
papers.
this in?
You have a statement?
I wrote it.
What does that even mean?
So for too long, we've been made to keep silent, to sit on the wayside while a vocal minority controls the ratings, but no more. I mustn't be silent any longer. I will die on this hill as a martyr, if need be, because Scarface fucking blows.
Whoa.
It's a dorm room frat movie that is awful. And at no point in those 3 hours did I enjoy myself.
Whoa.
Tony fucking sucks as a character. I cannot fucking stand him. Like, there is no reason why I need to follow him for 2 hours and 50 minutes. He's shitty to his sister, to his mom. He's shitty to his friends.
I don't think he's shitty to his sister and his mom at the beginning.
He's definitely shitty to them.
He tries to give them money. He's like, you can quit your jobs.
With
You don't
blood
have to work factor
money.
anymore. All right, but
to his
he
mom,
still said you can quit your job.
and he's like nice to Gina until she's with that dude, and then he literally just slaps his sister, like drags her ass out of the club.
He didn't want his sister being disrespected.
Yeah, dude.
She has bodily autonomy to do what she wants, though.
And
So I have a question to ask Dylan.
I have a question to ask you, Zach. Do you like the score to this movie?
I think the music in this movie is awesome.
Really? And you hated the Warriors because this is fucking worse. This is like a fucking 80s time capsule, and it is awful.
Yeah, but they do
it is
it
like
well.
the worst thing.
It
is the worst part of the
I
80s.
agree with you.
No, Cameron, you can't comment. You weren't there at the Warriors
Okay,
episode.
no.
You didn't watch
You can
that
like
fucking
this music,
movie.
though.
No, I'm
This-
saying
so-
I don't know anything
No.
about the Warriors. I'm just saying what
You
Dylan's
don't
saying
have
about
to.
the movie or the music and not being that good. Like it's very heavy 80s synth for a lot of it. I don't know. It's very
But
odd.
the
But
difference
it's like
between
it's not even like
Scarface and the Warriors.
good 80s synth. It's like
Well, like
hard 80s synth of like, oh, I can't even like compare it to a movie.
But in like the
I would
Warriors, the synth is like constantly on. It's almost like somebody hit play on an album and it's constantly playing in the background. Scarface.
what did I just watch?
Scarface. The music
There's
lets
at least
you
like
know.
a rhythm and a beat to like the
Morty, give me a
to
beat.
the Warriors one, because it's like, oh, they're moving. It's like a marching beat. This is like only keyboards, like the entire
will say I
time.
did not.
The way
I did
it's
not-
used, it moves the plot along. It lets you know,
Nah,
like,
I agree.
the
I
end of
didn't-
every big chapter. It's like, here's the theme.
I didn't like the scene, where Tony would get mad and it'd just be a close up of his face with heavy synth music behind it or something. It's like he's just like, can you imagine him acting out that scene where he's just like staring angrily at something for like 10 seconds?
Oh, see, I think that's one of the places where the music shines is because those scenes come out of nowhere. Like when, like at the end when he's at Manny's house and he sees his sister upstairs. It's almost like the movie goes into slow mo, and the music tells
does.
you Tony's about to lose his shit.
Yeah, because that's what a 3-hour movie needs. More slow.
Yeah, I feel like
The best part about this movie was the like 2-nostril Coke tool that Tony had, because I've never seen that before. It's like a almost like a pitchfork where you put like one in each nostril and then you can like snort the line through both.
It's like a beer bong for Coke.
because that's what Coke
that
needed
thing
is
kind
a
of-
beer bong.
It's like a double-ended straw, you know. If only we had a hookup.
You know,
with
in retrospect,
a
you could have
straw
just used
company.
2 straws. Like what? You just tie
Hey,
together
you
2
don't
straws.
want to walrus it though. You know,
What?
You can afford the nice stuff. You don't want to walrus it though. Look like a fucking fool. My question to Dylan. So there are 2 things that I know of that are stereotypes in like film school. One of them is people fanboying over Tarantino, and the other one is fanboying over Scarface.
I don't know if it's a film school thing, but I feel like it's at least like a college thing. Like I feel like Scarface is probably one of the top college dorm room posters.
Yeah, it's got to be
Oh
one of
my
the top
God.
posters sold every single year. But is that causing any backlash that may have driven your statement to the press?
No, I just think it's overhyped in general. Like I feel like anyone is like people got the T-shirts and shit. People got like they're always quoting like "say hello to my little," like it's always referenced, and I don't know why. Like just the first time I watched it, I did not enjoy it, and the reason I scheduled this into the podcast now, I talked to my brother and I was like, "Oh, we just watched The Warriors. I loved it." He was like, "Oh, I just watched Scarface. It's still pretty good." And I was like, "Really? I hated it last time. I give it another shot." And I gave it a shot, and then
Okay, so
I think part of the problem is you have to sit down and watch the movie.
did he not do that?
I trust me, I did for 3 hours.
But not 3 consecutive hours.
I don't think that matters.
Oh, it definitely
doesn't.
matters.
It absolutely does not matter. Because you know where I took my breaks? In the fucking title cards where it's like 3 months later. It's like a fucking SpongeBob episode up in here. It would have been better if the narrator came
I will
in.
say I feel like this
3
movie is
months
quotable
later.
mainly because the quotes are so out there and unique. Like a lot of it, like
And it's the accent.
well,
Some of the
there's
dialogue,
accent.
some of the dialogue in this sounds like it was written by the guy from The
Yeah,
Room.
it's like don't you fuck me, don't you ever fuck me. Like yeah, who's gonna say that? You know, like
A Cuban immigrant.
he
could
was okay. The
100%
person who said
see
that
where
wasn't a
Tony
Cuban
is his
immigrant. He
second
was just
language.
he was a Colombian.
Give him a break.
He was a Colombian. Okay,
Colombian, where English is at most his second.
I'm
his
not
second
saying
language.
that. I'm just saying okay, but beyond that, the English was fine. Like that was no.
God, the only part that gets me in the movies is why, like, the scenes where Tony and Sosa were talking, but not in Spanish to each other. Things like that. That's what gets me.
I
about
will
this
say
movie.
if this movie
Tony refuses to speak in Spanish.
If
for
this
most of
movie-
it.
Yeah, he only has one line the whole movie that's in Spanish.
If this movie were made today, I do feel like it could be better served if some of those scenes were in like Spanish. Like it would definitely be more like authentic, and it would I don't know have like a Narcos type of thing, you know, where a lot of it's in Spanish that makes sense to be in Spanish, and the parts that are like in English make sense to be in English.
And then when they went down to Colombia, they'd put that like yellow orange filter
Yeah,
on.
sepia.
Classic.
Sepia tone. Yeah, I don't know. I could just hear Al Pacino saying in his weird accent. You're a chicken. Cheap.
No, that's old. That's old Pacino. That's not young Pacino. That's Pacino at Ocean's 13
Oh,
or The Irishman.
I'm just saying, there's times in this movie where the dialogue just sounds insane.
2 easy ways to
I
explain
got my
it.
balls and I got my word, and I don't break them for anybody.
yeah. That's why I think this movie is
Okay.
just so quotable. Is because like the dialogue is just so unique and outlandish at times. It's just like
Well,
fun to
I
quote.
also think I think it's because of the accent that everyone wants to do it, because like you can say it's so hard. I was just about to say hello to my little friend, and it's so hard not to do it in the voice. So like I feel like that's a big thing. Is it's almost like the get to the chopper. Where like it's a quotable line, but only if you say it in the shitty Schwarzenegger impression. So I feel like that's another reason that people love.
If you
to quote
say
this
that,
movie.
if you say hello to my little friend in a normal voice or in a Scarface
it
voice,
felt
It sounds
you just
really
did it,
creepy.
and it felt
Yes.
uncomfortable.
if you
doing
say it in a
You're about to pull
Scarface
your little
voice,
wiener
according
out
to
and
the
show
movie,
me.
if you say it normally, you're getting put on the registry.
I think you're about to show me a chode or something.
Right.
Nobody wants to see little Cameron. Put that away. I had forgotten that the chainsaw scene happened in this movie.
So early on too.
And then when I like when he like walks into the hotel room and I saw the bathroom and I'm like, "Oh, hold on a second. I know where that bathroom's from." Oh shit.
It's a good point. It's something I wanted to call out. This is easily the greatest of all time shower curtain rod scene in a movie. I can't breathe on my shower curtain rod without it falling down. And this shower curtain rod held 2 full-grown men.
That's true. It's a good point,
Top
honestly.
tier shower curtain rod scene.
Wonder if they had to like reinforce that before they shot the scene.
You just have a weak shower curtain rod. How is yours installed? I know a guy. He can get you a better.
Oh,
shower
mine,
curtain
it's this shitty plastic thing where it literally just pushes against the wall and
Oh,
then you
yeah.
twist the ends to
Oh.
lock
rod.
it
And
in.
like kind of like
It's just like tension.
It's just tension,
yeah.
yeah. Just tension.
So it's not
Oh,
actually like
okay.
screwed in or anything like that.
Oh no, mine is like installed. It's also like curved. so
Mine
it
is
gives you
curved
room in
as
the
well,
bathtub.
and I think installed. I don't know.
All top tier showers get the curved shower curtain rod.
It's because in the shitty
Because
bathtub.
no one wants a shower curtain sticking.
Well,
tall.
it's because in the shitty bathtub shower combo, which I do have, having the bowed one makes the shower feel bigger. So,
Oh, I love Tony watching the TV
Yeah.
in the bathtub with all the flamingos. And then he's like, Manny, look at the pelicans fly. Come on, pelican.
I love that he's in a
Jesus
bathtub
Christ.
surrounded by what appears to be carpet. Such an interesting choice.
Yeah, carpeted bathroom.
We're going to hit up some ads, and then we're going to come back and do a little trivia quiz. You know we love saving the turts. You know Cam hates fucking paper straws.
Paper straw song.
Sock?
I will say that paper straw technology has improved since I last shat on paper straws. I have used a couple since I've been able to go out more recently due to being vaccinated, and
That's what they were doing the whole time while we were inside. They were just inventing better paper straws.
I have seen also not paper straws, but it seems like they're compostable plastic straws or something. Like
You're talking about the
they
ones that
feel
are made out of
different.
like agave or whatever.
I have no idea what the composition of these straws are. I'm just, but they are different.
I'm not
than
a
the
straw
normal ones you
expert.
see. But you're the expert, Dylan.
But I do know a good glass straw when I see one, you know?
Yes. I will say for being at home and where you know, maybe you like straws in your fruity margaritas or you like straws to mix with your, you know, old fashions or whatever. You know, having these straws around the home is really nice. Not constantly like throwing things away, or you don't have to keep buying straws all the time. Like you just buy a couple and then you're good.
And if you want cocktail picks or muddlers, they have that too. There's many colors. He's getting into like designs. So like the pride flag, he puts it on like the side of the straw. He's got hearts. He's got critters. It's like you get a piece of art along with a straw. Little multi-use.
Oh yeah, he has critter straws, which have see a dolphin, a salamander. That salamander looks intricate. That is impressive.
Grab some glass straws from Surfside Sips. Use promo code cocktails and classics spelled out for 20% off. We get a little kickback from that, and you get to save some money on some glass straws, and they should last you a long time. Dishwasher safe. They're pretty sturdy. Just don't drop them on the floor like me, like a big idiot. You have to buy more. Every episode, I guess besides last week, Zach takes over, puts us through a little trivia quiz, watches these movies, gets some spicy questions. Zach, what do you got for us on Scarface?
Spicy memes for the American dreams. So this movie we've talked about is extremely violent. The first question I have for you gentlemen today is, how many people do we see die during Scarface? Is it A, 21, B, 42, or C, 63?
I'm going to go with 21.
I'm gonna go max death at 63.
All right, I'm going to take the middle ground at 42.
Ben is on the board, ladies and gents. 42 deaths we see on the screen, including Tony's at the end.
Wow.
I didn't think it would be that many, actually.
Oh, you got to think, like, in that, the chainsaw scene, you see, like,
That's true.
5 people die.
Yeah, but then, like, I feel like most other people that die are, like, one-offs until the big scene at the end where he, like, somehow single-handedly takes out, like, 30 dudes.
Yeah, but you see a bunch of people, like, die before they even get to the mansion.
Do you?
Like, they're in the mansion, but, like, as they're getting up to the building, like, they're taking out all of Tony's security
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
before they get into the
I-
house.
I-
into the
I
house.
thought you were saying
Not to the
like,
mansion.
soldiers coming in.
No.
All right. Sometimes we stray from questions or answers that could be derived from watching the movie. But I feel like when that happens, I try to make sure the questions are still in your guys' wheelhouse, which I think is what we have with question number 2. Following the release of Scarface, an international corporation was established named the Montana Management to launder money for who? A. Jeffrey Epstein, B. Saddam Hussein, or C. Hugo Chavez?
Jeff Epstein. Just gonna throw it out there.
Why is this one in our wheelhouse?
If I have to explain it, it's not good.
If he has to explain it, it needs to be cut.
They could use this to testify. International corporation called Montana Management was established to launder money by who?
Where was Hugo Chavez from?
Venezuela.
My soul wants me to say Saddam. Like it was like an American thing where, you know, kind of like Tommy Wiseau, like you watch something and you just become enthralled in the American culture.
And from your Saddam knowledge, you believe he would be enthralled with American culture?
Yes.
Well, I mean, he
that's
was.
That's what I'm going to say.
At the end.
That's why I'm going to say Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, I also think Saddam Hussein. This is part of like the whole like Iran-Contra thing during the Reagan years. They started this. They used it to funnel money to buy guns and then sell the guns to
That's
Saddam
a bit of
Hussein.
a history lesson.
It was the
with
other
some
way
sort
around,
of
I think,
Real
but-
facts.
They sold weapons to Iran to fund Contra rebels in South America.
Oh yeah, but there was also the whole thing where like, you know, they were buying a bunch of drugs and like selling it
Yeah, they did a lot of shady shit.
on the streets to generate money to then
I
buy
see.
guns and sell them to. Yeah, it's just a whole thing. There was a bunch of shady shit that we just kind of gloss over the fact that happened. A lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah, like the part where we started the Taliban. Or Al-Qaeda, sorry. Al-Qaeda.
We're gonna have to cut that.
Yeah.
Where
We're gonna
we
get-
gave all the money to guns. We're going to get drone striked.
Okay, we're
Where we gave all the weapons to the...
Do you guys hear that?
I think the United States has handled peace in the Middle East as best as they can, Mr. FBI agent.
anyway. What is the answer to this question?
The correct answer is Saddam Hussein.
Ah, dang.
Coming for you, Ben.
Yeah, that gives Ben the lead with 2 points, Dylan with 1.
If only it's the first time I've heard you say that.
While Brian De Palma directed the movie, one of his famous director friends visited the set the day the crew was filming the Colombians attacking the Montana compound scene. So, Brian De Palma was like, what the hell? I'll just let my director friend direct that specific scene. Basically the end of the movie. Who was the director? A. Steven Spielberg, B. George Lucas, or C. Martin Scorsese?
Scorsese seems like the easy answer, right? Like, that seems like a bait answer.
None of them are who I thought it was going to be. So.
Michael
Who do you think it would
Bay.
be? Who's one of Brian De Palma's friends?
I don't know his friends. I was thinking it was going to be Francis Ford Coppola. but-
Ah.
Oh man, Dylan, that's exactly what I was thinking it was going to
Yeah.
be too.
Had he blown all of his money by then? I bet he had. It was 83.
Nah, man, he's got the wine business now.
Or maybe
Yeah, he started the wine
Yeah.
business, so you'd have something to live off of.
well, and don't forget, he's got all of that money coming in from his nephew.
Nicolas Cage.
And now this is when I drop the fun fact. Yes, that Nicolas Cage.
I was gonna say, or his like daughters.
The thing you got to remember about Francis Ford Coppola is he made like 2 of the greatest movies of all time.
Godfather 1 and 2.
Yeah, and then
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now, and that's it.
But if you're gonna make 2 or 3 good movies, like, he knocked it out of the park.
That's what you want to do.
He didn't make like
Yeah.
10 Transformer movies,
Yeah.
you know. He made 2 God,
Wait, what are Michael Bay's best movies that he?
I don't know, Transformers 1 through 85.
Yeah, 10 of those Transformers movies. Or, you know, you do a George Lucas and you shoot your friend's movie for him in the last scene. That's my answer.
So we have Francis Ford Coppola.
Nobody said
Lucas.
that.
I can't think that George Lucas would be friends with multiple directors. It can't happen. He's only friends with Steven Spielberg.
He's only friends with Spielberg.
Oh my god. And George Lucas was big in his own right at this time.
And that's why I think Spielberg did it. Because he's like, yeah, that George, he's like my third best friend, but like, you're my best friend, Brian.
Don't
So
tell
can I direct
George.
the scene? When he comes on Tuesday, don't
Don't tell George this, but you are my best friend.
Also, maybe don't bring George.
I have no chance of winning, so I'm gonna say George Lucas.
You didn't want to go for the easy bait?
No, I didn't.
That was good, because it was bait. It was not Martin Scorsese. The correct answer is Steven Spielberg.
Wow.
Yes.
So the entire Attack on the
Oh.
Compound scene was actually directed by Steven Spielberg.
That's insane. I can't believe you would just be like, yeah, I'm doing this project over here, but do you want to direct?
Do you want to direct the last scene?
the climax?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, tiebreaker. The new format is straight up whoever gives me the closest number.
Oh.
Give me the rate of F-bombs per minute in Scarface.
Ooh.
F-bombs divided by runtime is what I'm looking for.
Ah, nice.
Just in case you mathed the other way around.
So we're looking for X over 2 hours 49 minutes. Got it.
I have this out to 5 decimals, just in case.
What?
Holy shit.
I don't know if you need it that far.
Just in case.
All right, hold on. I'll give you a decimal then, if that's what you want.
Also, let it be known, I mean, we're past the days where, like, long division was impressive. I did this in my Google search bar.
I think it is 1.23529 F-bombs per minute.
I was going to say 4 a minute.
Did not want to take the hint that I went out to 5 decimal places.
It's 1 and change.
Yeah, the correct answer is 1.2176 F-bombs per minute.
I was close.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna get that.
It's a lot. This was the first movie in history to have more than 200 F-bombs.
What a comeback, I just down 1-0.
It's a regular Kim Kardashian story.
Those of us who have seen this film, we have some nostalgia, whether that be good or bad. And we'll let you know our updated ratings and what the rating we brought in. Cam and Ben haven't seen this movie, so they'll give us a fresh rating. Cam, lead us off. What did you think of Scarface?
All right. So Scarface. I did go into this movie expecting to not like it. I feel like that's a theme recently. Go into these movies that you guys picked expecting to really not like them. I don't know why.
Wow. Wow.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I didn't love it. Like, there were, as you said, there were a lot of issues with it. Some of the music, a lot of the music was kind of just like so 80s that, I don't know. Sometimes it's good. I like a lot of 80s music, but sometimes it's really, really bad. Al Pacino's accent is horrible in this movie. It's terrible. Like, if some white dude tried to imitate a Latino person and use this accent today, they'd be like, how did this get past anything? Like, how did anybody approve this?
You're saying Tony Montana will get canceled in 2021?
I'm not saying that. I just think, I don't even think it would get that far.
I just think you would have
for
an
one,
actor
you'd have a
who
Cuban,
is
you'd have a
Cuban.
Cuban American or Cuban actor for one.
Yes.
Hopefully.
And two, I imagine execs would look at that and hear it and be like, what the fuck? We are not doing that. That said, I did still enjoy the movie. Like, it was a long movie, but I still did enjoy it. There was enough that happened throughout the movie that it didn't feel like a slog to get through. It was a very action heavy movie in a lot of it too, which was nice. Like, some of the, dialogue scenes were broken up by that. And so for those reasons, I'm going to give it a 7. It was fine. It was a decent-ish movie. Am I going to watch it again soon? Probably not. But I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Scarface is one of those movies, like Dylan said, it's like the college. It's like the big college movie. So having not seen it, like, I feel like my expectations were pretty high. Everyone talks about this movie, like, they all have the posters. So I was kind of disappointed. I did not think this movie was great. It was okay. It was above average, but it didn't blow me away. The way people talk about Al Pacino in this movie, you would have thought he gave some sort of, like, Oscar-winning performance. It wasn't that. It wasn't great at all. I really like Michelle Pfeiffer as an actress, but she just felt like her character didn't need to be played by anyone with like a big name. I don't know if she was a big name at the time. I feel like her character really didn't serve much of a point in the movie. I'm a sucker for an 80s gunfight in a movie, though, so those kept me going. I will say it does not. When you watch the movie, it's 3 hours, but I started it last night and got through like a big chunk of it, and by the time I was finally like, okay, I need to go to bed, I was like, oh shit, I'm a lot farther in the movie than I thought I was. Like, it does not feel like it moves slowly. I like I said, obviously I hadn't seen it going into this. If you guys haven't seen it, I don't know that you need to. I don't know that it, I think people talk about it as being a movie that you need to watch. I don't personally see it that way. It's not a movie that I think I need to rewatch. I gave it like a 5.5. Like I said, it's above average, but it's not great. I think a lot of people watch this movie like with their parents who watched it in the 80s and 90s and loved it, and so they've developed this like affinity for it. But meh from me.
But I think Pacino does a good job playing that person for almost 3 hours. There are scenes in Scarface, like the scene where Pacino discovers that Manny married his sister, and there are scenes like the scene at the beginning, the Colombians, the shower scene, that I think are really, really good, that Pacino sells very well. The music, I think, goes great with the movie. I think the music is one of the main characters. It moves the story, and when it's not moving the story from point to point, it's signaling, all right, this is the end of a chapter. You can look at like the 3 big blocks of this movie. There's Tony's like rise up, there's him hitting it big in success, and then there's like the downfall of man part. And it's all plagued by like The World Is Yours, the music, which I think does like an awesome job. I gotta get it out of the way. This is a great movie. It has an 8.3 on IMDb. We need to get that up. It needs to break the top 100. I get that people fanboy over it, but I don't know. Maybe the fanboying is taken to an extreme, but regardless, it's still a great movie. 9 out of 10.
Going in, I gave it a 2 out of 10.
This is your Singing in the Rain.
This is the duality of man.
I read
right here. We found it.
I read my Communist Manifesto earlier. I just, dude, I can't. I don't enjoy this movie. I don't know what it is. I can understand the technical aspects. I don't mind the score, as far as like I don't mind it. I just don't. I don't understand Zach's like hating one movie that has like the exact same style.
But it's
almost.
not the style; it's how it's used. Scarface. The music will take you through the scene. The Warriors, it was like constantly on. It was like
It wasn't though.
Because they're constantly on the move. They're constantly trying to move through the city in the Warriors. That's the thing. It's supposed to be keeping that excitement of the fact that we've got to get going. We've got to keep moving.
Yeah, I don't know. I can appreciate the time and effort and artistic pieces to it. I don't think Al Pacino is that bad. I hate the accent. The accent is just like the cheesiest of like, if you were like, do an accent of somebody from Cuba, and it's like, there it is. I don't enjoy it. I don't have fun watching it. It dragged for me. Everyone else is kind of like, you know what? I looked at the time and I was like, yeah, this is going. And I set myself up and I was like, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna give it my full chance. And then by like 2/3 of the way in, I was like, dude, nothing has changed for me. I still cannot stand this movie, and I'm actually gonna I'm gonna drop it down to a 1 out of 10.
Ooh.
Unlike Ben, I think you should watch it. I think
This is our
I
biggest
think,
swing
like-
of all time. It beats Singing in the Rain.
unlike Ben, I would recommend it. I say watch
1 out of
it
10.
and
Highly
get
recommend.
your own. I recommend like just watching it and get your own opinion.
Out of 10, would recommend for sure. You should watch it.
But I'm the type of person who's like, give it a shot because you don't know if you're gonna like it or you're gonna hate it. Personally, it's not my taste, but obviously there's the fanboys, the people with the posters. Zach really enjoys it, so like
I'm just glad I was a separate group. I'm just glad that I was put in a separate group. I never had a Tony Montana poster.
The fanboys. The
I
people
played the
with
hell out of
posters.
Fanboys.
GTA Vice
Zach.
City, which is basically
College
this
kids,
game, this movie.
Zachary.
so like there are fans of this movie. You may be one, so try it out. Give it a shot. It's on Netflix. You have until June 30th. Yeah. If I pissed you off, leave a review. Comment on our Instagram. Give me shit. I want to
Well,
hear
if
it.
you were
I'm
pissed
playing
off,
the Trey Young villain. I want to hear. Give me the booze.
If you were pissed off, shoot us a message on Instagram. If you loved the episode, rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And Google Podcasts, if that's still around.
Share us with your friends and family. Send us your drink and movie recommendations. And as always, watch responsibly.